When the United States first rolled out the F-35 Lightning II, it was hailed as the most advanced fighter jet in history, a flying computer designed to dominate the skies. But what no one expected was that a small country in the Middle East, Israel, would take this already cutting-edge jet and quietly make it even more powerful. The story begins when Israel became the first foreign country allowed to buy the F-35. Most nations that purchased the jet received it under strict U.S. control, meaning no modifications, no secret systems, and no personal upgrades. But Israel wasn't most nations. The Israeli Air Force had a reputation for customizing everything it touched, and the Americans knew it. From the start, Israel insisted on one condition: full freedom to modify its jets. The U.S. rarely allows that. Yet after intense negotiations, Washington made a rare exception. Israel's version was named the F-35 Adir, meaning mighty in Hebrew. On the surface, it looked like any other F-35, same stealth design, same shape, same roar. But beneath its skin, it was entirely different. Israeli engineers rewrote parts of the jet software, installed their own electronic warfare systems, and even built secret modules that only their technicians can access. These systems allow Israel to jam enemy radars, deploy unique countermeasures, and adapt the jet instantly to battlefield threats, without waiting for U.S. approval or updates. Inside military circles, this move was groundbreaking. No other country had the authority to touch the F-35's classified code. Israel not only touched it, they rewired it. This gave their pilots unmatched independence. In a region surrounded by hostile forces, that independence wasn't just an advantage. It was survival. And soon, the world began to notice. Something about Israel's F-35s felt different: faster reactions, deadlier precision, and the ability to strike in places no one thought possible. By 2018, rumors began circulating in military circles. Israel's F-35s weren't just patrolling, they were fighting. The Israeli Air Force quietly launched the first real combat missions using the jet. Without fanfare, without confirmation. Until one day, a high-ranking Israeli commander revealed something that shocked the world: the F-35I has already flown in combat. This meant Israel had done what even the US hadn't: they had tested the jet in real war conditions. Their F-35s had slipped undetected across multiple enemy borders, including Syria and Lebanon, striking high-value Iranian and Hezbollah targets. Radar operators never saw them coming. To everyone else, it was as if the jets were invisible ghosts. But it wasn't just stealth that made them unstoppable. The Israeli upgrades had turned the F-35I into a data powerhouse. Their engineers had linked it directly with Israel's unique intelligence network: satellites, drones, and ground sensors. This web of real-time data gave pilots a full 360-degree awareness of the battlefield. While other nations relied on American command systems, Israel's F-35s operated as independent hunters. Their secret electronic warfare suite could blind enemy radars, confuse surface-to-air missiles, and even hack into hostile networks mid-flight. And because Israel's security environment changes overnight, they could reprogram the jet systems within hours, something impossible with the US-controlled versions that require Pentagon clearance for any code changes. Washington quietly took note. The Pentagon realized that Israel wasn't just a customer, it was turning into a laboratory for the F-35's future. American engineers began studying some of the Adir systems for potential integration into US models. In a strange twist, the teacher was learning from the student. Every secret mission Israel flew added another layer to its growing legend. The F-35 Adir wasn't just an American jet anymore, it was now something uniquely Israeli. Behind the scenes, the collaboration between American and Israeli engineers deepened, but it wasn't without tension. The US had spent over $1 trillion developing the F-35 program, and its code was among the most tightly guarded secrets in military history. Yet here was Israel, a small ally, modifying it, rewriting it, and in some ways, improving it. Inside Lockheed Martin's headquarters, some engineers called Israel's version the Rebel Jet. It didn't always follow American update schedules, didn't wait for Washington's green light, and sometimes operated on frequencies even US systems couldn't monitor. But that was exactly what Israel wanted: total freedom in the skies. The reason was simple: Israel's enemies were always changing, and the threats came from every direction: Iran's drone fleets, Syrian missile batteries, and electronic interference from foreign powers. The Israeli Air Force couldn't afford to rely on slow bureaucracy or distant approvals. Their F-35 Adirs had to evolve every week. So, they built a local innovation hub around the aircraft, a hybrid between a tech lab and a military command center. Engineers and pilots worked side by side, testing new codes, adding sensors, and upgrading stealth coatings. In some missions, they even equipped the F-35I with custom-built Israeli weapons, perfectly integrated into the jet systems, something no other nation could do. When Israeli pilots flew the Adir, they weren't just using a fighter jet. They were using a national shield, one tuned specifically for their survival. The F-35I could enter a hot zone, detect a missile launch before it even locked on, and trigger automatic countermeasures in milliseconds. And perhaps most impressively, Israel had built secure communication links between its F-35s and older aircraft like the F-15 and F-16, creating a deadly mixed formation that shared data instantly. American versions couldn't do that yet. It was becoming clear, the mighty wasn't just a name. It was a warning. By the early 2020s, the legend of the F-35I Adir had spread far beyond the Middle East. Analysts began calling it the smartest F-35 in the world. It wasn't about speed or firepower alone, it was about brains. Israel had turned the jet into a flying supercomputer that could think, react, and strike faster than any opponent. American officers who trained with Israeli pilots noticed the difference immediately. The Adir pilots didn't just fly missions, they orchestrated digital warfare in real time. One U.S. colonel reportedly said, "They fight like they've already seen the battle before it starts." That's because, in a way, they had. The Israeli F-35's onboard AI was connected to a constant feed of live intelligence, satellite data, ground signals, and even cyber activity. Every second, the jet was learning. When Iran began deploying new radar systems to detect stealth aircraft, Israel responded within weeks. Engineers uploaded new counter-algorithms into the F-35I fleet overnight. The next morning, those radars went blind again. It was a level of speed and adaptability no other air force could match, not even the U.S. Despite the pride in American technology, officials quietly admired Israel's results. The modifications, though sometimes controversial, had proven the aircraft's true potential. Some experts even suggested that future US F-35 updates might borrow ideas first tested by the Israelis. For Israel, it was never about bragging rights. It was about survival, being ready for the next war before it begins. And with the Adir, they had created something the world had never seen before, a stealth fighter that wasn't just built for battle, but built to evolve. So when people ask how Israel's F-35 became more powerful than the American version, the answer isn't just technology. It's mindset, a mix of innovation, necessity, and fearless independence. Because in Israel's skies, power doesn't come from what's given to you, it comes from what you create yourself.